I can't bring myself to relax as Eagle flies toward the coordinates, my heart still pounding away in my chest. I hardly have any idea what I'm doing, but if I can make sure Nikki's safe, then I can involve the police. That's what has to happen. That's fair, because at that point, he won't have any sort of bargaining chip. If I can secure Nikki, we're good. I touch down in the arena, starting to cautiously walk forward, looking about. So far, I'm not seeing anything. Then, lights flash on in the arena, and I hear laughter over my comms. Comms. I said that with like an L, like calm. No. You came! You actually came! And so promptly, too. Why, I'm almost impressed. I clench my jaw, looking every which way for the source of the voice. I can't see anyone, but that voice, I know it. I know who it belongs to. Give me back my sister, Ruse! Donnie Ruse, yep. That was the CEO guy of Ludian. I think, right? I think. Now, that's Mr. Ruse to you. And I'll return your sister just as soon as you fulfill your end of the bargain. And see, fulfill this time, yeah, 2 L's at the end. So that's cool. Give me your data. I tense further. Crap. I didn't bring anything, did I? First, prove to me that you have her. Oh, very well. Oh no! They do have her! The monitors surrounding the arena flash, and my heart sinks when I see her. Nikki! And just like that, they turn off again. A growl rises in my throat. Give her back! Give me the data. You didn't seriously come all this way without what I requested and without a plan, did you? Disgusting. To think I wrote you such praise earlier. Very well then. If you want to die so badly, hold still. I'll kill you before I kill your sister. The lights in the arena suddenly go out, and I hear the growing jet of a gear approaching. I take a ready stance, watching in the direction of the sound, and soon see a shadow fly over the stadium wall. I'm taken aback by how quickly the shadow grows, and just as it's about to ram into me, I leap to the side. A flash of hot pink energy whips out from the other gear's hand, and I throw my arms up to brace myself against its impact. No, the readings don't make sense. That did way too much damage! The gear strikes again. Eagle's displays flash a warning, shields taking a heavy loss. Of course, Ruse didn't just have recreational weaponry. This was real! I need to get out of his melee range. I activate my thrusters and peel away, but even as I do, I see the dark gear pull out a rifle, of course. Crap! How am I supposed to compete with this weaponry? Shields at 50%. Already, gripping the hilt of my sword, I charge in with a battle cry. He fires at me again, but this time I'm able to dodge it, raising my sword up high to bring it crashing down toward him. He dips to the side faster than I can react, then rams against me. I almost lose my grip on my sword from the impact. He pivots, slashing at me with the energy blade again. I leap back, but the tip still catches my frame, leaving a mark in Eagle's energy reserves. You may be among the best in school, but you've never tasted real battle. I activate my thrusters again, putting some more distance between us. I need time. Why are you even doing this? Why? He laughs. Because I haven't had the chance to properly test this myself. My eyes widen as he lunges at me, clearing the distance before I have the chance to move. His blade tears through my shield, and the lights in my cockpit begin flashing red. Shield's critical. I waited years for something like this to be discovered. Eluding enterprises will rise to the top. And once everyone realizes what this technology is capable of, Japan will have the greatest military force in all the world. I can't get away! Every time I shift, he pursues me, hitting me harder each time. It can't already be over. That is not a good sound for me. I grip my teeth as Eagle loses the last of its energy, its shields shutting down. You don't have the possessive there. Its is the possessive. Shields is supposed to be plural. So, there you go. S-H-I-E-L-D-S. My eyes widen as the sword strikes me again, and my displays flash something I've never seen before. Eagle lost its arm. Oh. The fools at Midori Energy almost wasted all this potential. Do you know how many possibilities exist with this energy? Another heavy metal arm crashes to the ground. No. I won't let anyone get between me and my work. He raises his energy blade again, fizzling hot in the dark sky, then brings it down in a wickedly curved slash. Eagle's torso is torn from its legs, and it hits the ground with a violent shake, jolting me about the cockpit. My body aches. Eagle's hatch pops open, and then there's nothing but the sound of crackling energy outside. I take a few seconds to breathe, then, with a deep breath, I hoist myself forward, starting to carefully climb out of the hatch of my downed gear. Now, all I could do was stare up at the enemy gear towering before me, lit up in the night by its own energy. I failed. Nikki, I'm so sorry. Don't look so down, kid. The world would be a better place when I'm finished with it. Cowdy, I should have listened to you. You've always been a voice of reason. If I had just waited back at the hangar, you would have helped me think of a solution. And think of it this way, your death plays a part in that. I continued to stare up into the shadowy colossus, my gaze distant. I should have told you what was happening, Uncle Kaito. You must be so worried you must be worried sick right now. I'm sorry. Well, goodbye, Riz. I kind of thought this would be more difficult. Dick. Finally, I shut my eyes and dipped my head, clenching my fists atop my thighs. I'm sorry for letting you down, Dad. I'm so sorry. And everyone, take care of yourselves. A new whirring begins to fill the air, one that I've only heard a few times before. He's going into overdrive. Opening my eyes, I look up, watching as the gear's outstretched hand begins to glow brighter and brighter, amassing more and more energy in its palm. You won't even feel a thing. I wince, but don't avert my gaze, keeping my narrowed eyes locked onto him. If I was going to die here, I was going to face it. Such a boss. The energy began to reach its peak. And then... my eyes widen. Just as Ruse releases the energy, a crimson gear slams into its side. We know what that means! Knocking its aim off course. The blast tears through a wall, sending rubble is what you guys want. Sending rubble crashing down to the ground, but I hardly even notice. That gear! Cowdy! You idiot! I told you not to come here! She did tell me that. A brief chuckle of belief escapes me as another gear shows up. Then another. I can't believe it. I stand atop my gear, a smile spreading across my face as I look from one gear to the next. We've got your back, Broseph. Just stay back. We'll take care of this. Cowdy, Sho, Mayu. You guys came for me. I don't even know how you found me, but I'm so glad you did. He has Nikki. He won't by the time we're finished here, Broseph. You can count on that. We're not gonna let anything else happen to you or your sister. Guys, if it weren't for you, I wasn't able to take Ruse on by myself, but they're a team. Together, I know they stand a chance. That's pretty cool. I actually like this moment. It's all like cinematic and, you know, rising up in power. I like that. What is this? The team's all together? Without overdrive, you don't stand a chance. Don't give him time to think. Attack! Roger. Okay. Without another word between them, Cowdy and Sho both charge at Ruse. He raises an arm to lash out at one of them, but instead takes a heavy sniper round to the chest. Cowdy and Sho split their formation, circling around the shadowy gear, flanking him on either side. Sho starts to fire at him, and he dodges it, stepping right into Cowdy's strike instead. He staggers slightly before whipping about, slashing her gear across the chest. Watch his weapons! They're military grade! We know. Like a boss, The three continue their assault, Cowdy and Sho going back and forth with their blows. Mayu firing a shot every time Ruse tried to get a strike in himself. He's still able to push through and hit him now and then, or hit them now and then, but they're holding strong for now. Whenever Ruse tries to close the gap on Mayu, she jets away while Cowdy and Sho rush in to pincer him, keeping him back. He's incredibly fast, but between the three of them, they're pulling it off. Keep up the pressure! We're weakening his shields! But what about his... My eyes widen. His overdrive. He already used it. He must have wasted a huge amount of energy firing that blast at him. Had Cowdy done that intentionally? Mayu cries out over the comms. I'm hit! Get away from him! Ruse slashes at Mayu as she jets back. But Cowdy intercepts him, narrowly parrying the blow away. Sho follows up with another volley of rounds in Ruse's back. A frustrated growl sounds from the gear. What are you doing? You'll ruin everything! He's almost down. Don't let up! The lower his energy drops, the more frustrated he becomes, Ruse grows more and more sluggish, more and more impatient, lashing out impulsively at one gear, then the next. Finally, with a hoarse shout, he charges Cowdy, stabbing his blade through her gear as she slices... Oh my gosh! As she slices at his own. I need a drink. Also, her gear there isn't capitalized. Maybe it doesn't have to be, but I feel like consistency with either lowercase or all caps. I think consistency would be nice. His gear stands still. I mean, it's consistent here at least, but I think overall capitalized gear has been used more often. It looks like it's over. We won. Cowdy, are you alright? I'm fine. Dude, we actually did it! As Cowdy straightens up, Ruse starts to laugh. You don't even have the weaponry to destroy my gear. I may not be able to move, but I can still do this! After a moment's pause, I perk up in realization as the humming of energy returns, starting to steadily build up. Moments later, my eyes widen at the sight of Ruse's gear starting to glow. And there, they actually used the possessive for Ruse with an S at the end of it, like after an apostrophe. Before, they just had Ruse apostrophe. I think apostrophe S is better, but either way, consistency is good. No way. No way! He's going to self-destruct! Both of you, on me. What? Shouldn't we be getting out of here? We're not leaving anyone behind. Besides, an explosion like this could reach farther than we'd expect. And we don't know where Nikki is. Cowdy? Mayu and Sho rush over to join her. Surround him. Cowdy then raises her hand, and her shield projects outward, enveloping part of Ruse. Mayu and Sho then do the same, forming a bubble around his gear. The humming only grows louder, the glow brighter. Do you ever quit? But, Cowdy, what about you guys? We'll be fine, trust me. His energy's too low to kill us. I clench my jaw. I have no choice but to trust her. She's earned that. The arena grows brighter and brighter still. I flinch away, quickly crawling back into what remained of Eagle, opting to take whatever cover I could. The whine of the energy reaches its peak once more. And there it is. Alright, that's a cool, I think that's a cool transition with that explosion. I like that. I think that's cool. Yeah. Following the explosion came the sound of gear after gear toppling to the ground. Then everything was silent, save for the lasting reverberations. Dust filled the air, covering whatever the darkness failed to, and it was another minute before it all began to settle. I carefully begin climbing out of Eagle, sliding down its frame and hitting the ground with a quiet grunt. Pushing myself up, I peer through the haze of night. Cowdy? Mayu? Sho? A cough sounds out, followed by a weak laugh. We're alive! Oh God, we're alive! Sho, are you crying? There's a sniffle. No? I smile, but it doesn't last long, and I continue forward. Cowdy? I let out a long breath of relief at the sound of Cowdy's hatch popping open, and I hurried toward it. I grin as I see her sliding down the frame of her gear. Cowdy! I make it over to her just as she regains her footing, and I wrap my arms tightly around her, holding her against me. I press my face into her hair, setting a hand on the back of her head, letting out a heavy breath. God, Cowdy, I was so worried. I pull back from the embrace and see Cowdy's expression. Uh-oh. Raising a hand, she slaps me sharply across the face. You were worried? You were worried? I shut my eyes, bracing myself, and she slaps me again. I'm sorry. Idiot! I could have lost you! I told you to stay at the hangar, didn't I? Didn't I say I'd find you? I opened my eyes to see her hand raised again, and I flinched slightly, adopting an utterly sincere, apologetic smile. I didn't know any of these songs had vocals. I don't remember that. And you did find me. Cowdy, you were right. I should have listened. Thank you for saving me. I feel maybe not use a comma there. A pause is nice, but I might just use an ellipsis at that point, honestly. It looks like Cowdy tries to say man for a few seconds more, but then it all falls away. Ah! You stupid! Pressing up against me, Cowdy throws her arms around my neck and pulls me into a deep kiss. Though I'm caught off guard at first, relief washes over me, and I close my eyes, holding her close. This time, we really had done it. It was really over now. Shortly afterward, a number of emergency vehicles pulled up onto the scene. Each of us were questioned and examined, and although our gears were all in need of serious repairs, none of us were terribly injured. After hearing about the kidnapping, officers immediately went out in search of Nikki, eventually finding her scared but unharmed, thank goodness. She latched onto me and began crying against my chest as soon as she was able, and I did the best I could to comfort her. I swear I'll never let anything like that happen to her again. By the time Kaito arrived, we were all free to go home. Following our accounts of the incident, authorities began investigating Eludian Enterprises, and a handful of employees were arrested. Much of their research was confiscated too, thanks to the comm recordings courtesy of Valerie. I can only hope that it's in better hands now. Back at school, our team was barred from competing for the remainder of the school year following accurate claims of misconduct. Thanks to Yuna speaking with the school staff on our behalf, we weren't suspended, and only had to take a gear responsibility class a few times a week to make up for it. That's fair. I think that's fair. Though it took some time and counseling, Nikki was soon enough back to her usual cheerful self. She became much better about texting the who, what, when, and where to me, Kaito, or Yuki whenever she was going out, and she started asking for rides more often instead of taking the bus. Okay. I was questioning counseling, but I think that's the right counseling. I think it is. Yeah. Because, like, counsel, C-O-U-N-S-E-L, is like advice. Like, you seek counsel, you seek advice. C-U-U-N-C-I-L is like, the meeting has begun as the council decreed it, so, you know, kind of thing, whatever. So that counseling should be okay. I'm not the best with counseling, so, in, I guess, both terms of the word. Sho and Mayu stayed together, and so did me and Cowdy. So did Cowdy and I, because it's Cowdy and I stayed together. I stayed together. Me stayed together doesn't work. Not having to take time out of our days for piloting practice meant we had time for double dates instead. Oh, cool. Sho, of course, continues to get hit on when Mayu's not around. It still drives him crazy. That's fun. Oh, look at that. Cowdy and I walk along the beach hand in hand. With the sun growing lower in the sky and the occasional nippy wind whipping through the area, most people have already left for home. As the breeze picks up again, Cowdy shivers beside me. I let go of her hand and wrap my arm around her waist instead, pulling her a little closer. With a little smile, she wraps her arm around me, too, her other hand resting still in her pocket. She looks up at me for a moment, then turns her gaze out over the water, toward the setting sun. It's beautiful out here. It is. Not as beautiful as you. I've seen better. I'll be cheesy. Whatever, screw it. Not as beautiful as you. Wow, exactly what I chose! Her cheeks grow a deeper red, and with a soft giggle, she turns back to give me a kiss on the cheek. You're sweet. Another cold breeze blows over the sand, and she shivers again. I laugh. Not a fan of the cold, huh? A little exasperated sigh escapes her. I'm fine with the cold if I'm dressed for it. That's true, she's not very dressed for it. I do like, though, how, they have her hoodie over her swimsuit. I think that's, one, really cute, and two, it makes sense. With another laugh, I shake my head, giving her side a gentle squeeze, hoping she'd know I was only teasing. I think my family's hoping to get away from the cold this year. I've heard mumblings of taking a vacation around Christmas. Oh, I see what you're getting at now. She looks at me again. Oh? Are you going with them? I mean, probably. Where are you guys going? I don't know yet. They probably won't decide until it gets closer. Why? Thinking you might want to come with? She blinks, perking up slightly, and her gaze flits away. Actually, I was gonna go spend Christmas with my family, and I was hoping maybe you'd want to come with me. Of course. Yes. I perk in surprise at the remark, but a grin crosses my face the next moment. I stop walking, turning to face her as I pull her up against me. She tenses slightly in surprise, and I kiss her forehead. I'd love to, Cowdy. Cowdy scoffs a little in relief, then laughs. Wrapping an arm around my neck, she stretches up and presses her lips against mine, kissing me hard. Things may not always be perfect. There are always going to be struggles in life. But I know who my friends are, and I know that it's all worth it for them. For Sho and Mayu, Yuna and Valerie, Kaito, Yuki, and Nikki. For everyone else I may meet along the way. And for Cowdy, my best friend. Aww. Yeah, and then we get Ace Academy logo. Cool. Alright, so there... That was it then. Credits rolling, yep. I was gonna let them play out. So... I liked this. I really did like this. Is it amazing? Like, no, it's not amazing, but I do really like it. I definitely think it's better than how the ending to Ace Academy was originally. It adds a lot more story. I mean, I've been recording now for actually almost 2 hours. And so, like, that's a pretty good amount of time. I don't remember how long this game was in total. I feel like it was around the 18-hour mark or something like that. And if that's the case, you know, bumping it up to... I could be completely wrong. But if that's the case, like, 2 hours adding on to an 18-hour, like, that's a pretty good chunk for an ending, I think. I think the pacing could have been a little bit better in places. It seemed like sometimes things were a little bit rushed, or maybe a little bit, like, kind of convoluted, like, forced just a bit. But again, still, I really liked how it turned out. But just trying to give all my thoughts, which reflect on as you will, and, you know, do with it what you will. I think it made sense that Donnie Ruse, again, CEO of Ludian, I think it makes sense that he was kind of like the main antagonist of the story. But I do kind of wish that we had seen more of him throughout the game, that we got to see more, like, hints that he was the villain. Because we really only got to see that, like, near the end, after we beat Akida's team, and we go visit Ludian Enterprises ourselves. And then we talk to him, and, you know, like, they have the core data, or, you know, like, the technology. Excuse me. And, that kind of thing. So it just, like, we really only got hints of him being any sort of antagonist at the end, I feel. And then we got, like, the characters assumed, like, Cowdy and main character assumed it during this little endgame DLC sort of thing. But I don't know if we ourselves actually got hints about it, aside from just context. Like Cowdy said, you know, we had just learned about the secrets of our core, and we had just visited their offices. And so the timing of like our motorcycle braking was it would have been pretty coincidental otherwise, you know. So there was that, but aside from that, not really. And I think that his motivation could have been a little bit better expanded on. Like he said, one, I think that his company would rise to the top, which fair enough. And two, that like Japan would have the greatest military force like ever or something. And okay, fair enough, but I don't know why you care about that. You know, I didn't get to know Donnie Ruse himself, so I didn't get to see like why that mattered. You know what I mean? Anyway, to go back a bit to the motorcycle bit, I liked that part actually. I thought the tension presented in it was pretty good. I think that it would help to have the song loop a little bit better, because there were definitely times where I'd like hear it fade out and then hear it fade, like there'd be a pause and then I hear it fade back in. And it's nicer when it's just like a consistent thing, in my opinion, where you almost can't tell, you know, or maybe can't tell at all, where the gap is, you know, where there was a break, that sort of thing. I'm also curious because we didn't get, again, like any QuickTime actions during this, which again, I know that I had the athletic, like kind of leaning in this game. I forget what to call that. I'll just say athletic predisposition kind of thing. Or characteristic, there we go, athletic characteristic. I had that, and so I know that I would be able to skip some things, but like I never had to swerve out of traffic or anything like that, you know, around cars during that motorcycle bit. I didn't have to do anything in the fight against Donnie, but I guess I lost, so, you know, maybe if I had done stuff, it would have felt a little more cheap that I lost, which is fair. I complain about that sometimes, when it's like, I did everything I was supposed to do and I still wasn't good enough, you know? So yeah. Also, something that's occurring to me now is there weren't really a lot of choices near the end of the game. I'm trying to think of what the last one was before, oh, well, I guess the last choice was whether to wait for Cowdy at the hangar, aside from the yes at the very end. I think that was it. And yeah, I guess that's fine. Like, I didn't really notice a lack of choices, so it wasn't anything super impactful. And I would imagine, too, given that this is them making an ending to the game, they probably wouldn't want too many deviations, you know? There are only so many ways it could go. I imagine the biggest changes are just depending on who you were able to romance, if anyone, or whom you were able to romance. I do wonder how the ending would have changed had I, like, waited for Cowdy at the hangar, or had I called the police. Like, could something bad have actually, you know, happened to Nikki? If I'd waited for Cowdy, would we still have assembled, like, Sho and Mayu? And then would it have been the four of us fighting him together? Because we definitely had some time. I think the text said to come with, like, all the data and stuff at midnight, or by midnight. And we just, like, left right away. Granted, I don't know how far away the meeting was, but I imagine if you're giving someone, like, an ultimatum kind of thing like that, that you would make sure they had enough time to reach the location after gathering up everything you requested. I'd imagine. I could be wrong. Anything more to talk about? You still need to work on your grammar. There are still a lot of grammar fixes that could be done. And even when they're not, like, necessarily mistakes, there are definitely parts where you could be more consistent, too. Like with, Ruse possessiveness, with, whether to have gear be lowercase or all caps, things like that. I'm trying to think if there are any more inconsistencies that popped out. I don't think so. But yeah, definitely make sure that, you know, you don't have unnecessary apostrophes, like unnecessary possessives. And make sure you have apostrophes where they are necessary. Make sure you have the right word, like don't mix up break and break. You know, B-R-A-K-E and B-R-E-A-K. Solus and solace, S-O-L-U-S versus S-O-L-A-C-E. Again, I think you were fine on counseling at the end there, C-O-U-N-S-E-L-I-N-G. So that was good. But basically, if you're not sure about those things, like, just look them up real quick. Dictionary, you know? Again, like, I'm sitting here, I might not be able to tell you with 100% certainty that that's the correct counseling, though I'm pretty darn sure. But if I were making this as a game, like, I'd take the time to check the words and make sure that it was accurate. I think that just having a proofreader, maybe you guys have a proofreader, but get a better one if you do. I'm sorry if that's offending or insulting to anyone or offensive to anyone, but, like, you know, this wasn't terrible. The proofreading in this wasn't terrible, but it just could be better. And since you want it to be a professional project, you want people to pay money for it, just, you know, put a little more work into it, and hire someone who knows what they're doing, I say. That kind of thing. I liked... I did like the story overall, you know, like from... It made sense that there was a good transition between, like, falling asleep with Cowdy at the end of the main game and then waking up still feeling uneasy about things. I liked that Cowdy took initiative and, like, took you to the arcade to try to make you feel better. And then that set up, of course, the whole motorcycle thing, which really kicks in the drama. I liked some of the banter that was had, for sure. I think a lot of the dialogue is good in this game. And some of the music choices, too, you know, were really fitting. I actually think that maybe there could have been more music or more sounds in this, which I imagine would be added in as the game is further in development. So that's fair. But, like, there was a... Well, I wonder if this was intentional, too, because there were a lot of scenes where there was just nothing, you know? There was just silence, or maybe, like, an ambient sound I think I hear, like birds tweeting or something. And maybe that was intentional because without music, it's more tense, you know? And the situation was supposed to be tense. Or maybe you just didn't have a fitting enough song that gave the emotion you were looking for. And that's fair, you know? You don't want to take away from an emotion with a song. You want it to be fitting. But there were just a lot of moments, yeah, where it was really quiet. And so if it's intentional, I guess that's fine, because it did make it more tense. But I wasn't always sure, I guess, if I was supposed to feel kind of tense or awkward in those moments. But another thing, before it slips away from my mind, at the end there, like the climactic bit, you know, fighting Ruse, there was a cool moment, like there was this sort of like softer piano song, as main character is all like, I'm sorry, Cowdy, I'm sorry this person, I'm sorry this person. And what I think would be really cool is if during those moments the background picture transitioned between a sort of, you know, a picture of each of those that he was thinking about. Because in that moment, what I gathered from it was sort of a life flashes before your eyes almost thing, where like as he's staring death in the face, you know, with Ruse charging, I imagine it like an Iron Man kind of thing, charging his overdrive, you know, ahead of him or above him, looming over him. There we go. I just imagine all those people that he cared about going through his head, and I liked that. It would be nice to have a visual representation. And actually, just regarding that end fight as a whole, it would be nice to have more pictures, because it was just on that, like, arena picture, basically the entire time, I think. And I imagine a lot of that is just because, again, this is early development, so I don't blame you. But I would definitely make sure to include stuff like that. Again, I think a sort of montage of, like, people he's thinking about during that piano song, I think that would be really good. I think it would be really cool as, like... Yes, I think this would be really cool. Okay, so, you know, he's... Main character sitting atop his gear, staring up at Ruse's gear, waiting to die, right, basically. I think it'd be cool to have a picture of, like, tiny little main character on his broken gear, like, kneeling on top of it. Giant gear, like, down at him, you know, charging his weapon. And then, and, you know, you could have a shift to make the glow bigger. You did this kind of thing with the end of Crystalline pictures, you know? And then Cowdy's gear rushes in and slams it, and just, like, have that. I think that'd be really cool. I think that'd be awesome. But definitely some more pictures to switch that up a little bit, just so it's not an arena the entire time. Like, at first I was thinking, why not have it be, like, Eagle's sprite, and Ruse's gear sprite, and Cowdy's gear sprite, you know, just the usual sprites. But I kind of liked it without that, honestly. I kind of liked it just having the visuals, or having the text and being able to picture it in my head. But I think that some pictures just would be really cool for it. Like, there was the picture fighting against Akira that was really cool. There's a picture when Eagle first, you know, did Overdrive. Those were really cool. Pictures like that, that's what I want to see. I think that'd be awesome. And if you wanted to do a picture, too, of Cowdy bending over as she removes her pants to sleep, like, you may. I'm not gonna say you should, but you totally could. It would be fitting in that moment, and a lot of people would probably like that. But you know, I would just have to imagine. Are there any other moments where pictures would be good? I think the end picture kind of thing might be nice, you know, just because it's the end, and it just could be cool. Like, you know, main character and Cowdy, like, kissing on the beach as the sun is setting, because that's what the setting was, and that would have been like that would be a really pretty, like, picturesque thing. So I think that could be cool, things like that. Another thing to, again, work on just as you're finishing this up is make sure the transitions are smoother between, like, characters changing expressions, between different dialogue options, as in, like, names lingering and things like that when they're not supposed to. I think that kind of stuff would be good. Okay. I don't know if there's really anything else. Like, sorry, I know I'm only critiquing here, like, the Cowdy ending. I don't know how, like, I don't know if you have them all done, or up to this point, up to this extent, rather. But hopefully this was helpful enough for you guys, at Pixelfade, that is. If you need any more help, if you have any questions, like, you feel free to email me or DM me on Twitter. I know that you guys have that information. And, you know, I'd like to help if possible, like, that'd be cool. And as for you viewers, thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, whether you liked it, whether you disliked it, what you thought about this or that, and what advice you would give to Pixelfade. But along with that, of course, make sure to leave what you really liked about, you know, that kind of thing. Because constructive criticism is awesome, but compliments are really cool too. So, yeah, let me know what you guys thought. And with that, we're calling it here.
Cue outro, go!